So hi guys, this is Vishali and I am here to teach you one of the chapter that is not coming in the board exams but it will come in your periodic test. So the making of the global world. The first topic is pre-modern world. Now pre-modern world is something when there was trade going on, then capitalism going on, there were many things that were going on. So we are going to see first topic the pre-modern world. Now, when we talk of the word globalization, we often refer to an economic system that has emerged since last 50 years or so. But it is not so. Like when we are referring to the past history, we are thinking that yes, globalization is development. It is taking place just 50 years or so. But it is not so. As you will look on in this chapter, the making of the global world has a long history. It has a very long history. Now, of what? Of trade, of migration, of people in search of work. For what people were migrating? For work, for the movement of capital. Now, this is the most important topic we are going to see, that is the capital. So, we should be able to think that this is the capital, flow of capital is this. Now, when I am saying that we are moving on to the development, what thoughts we are having, that yes, if we are moving on development, it may be like last 50 years or so. It is not so. Now, as we think about dramatic and visible signs of global interconnection in our daily lives, we need to understand the phrases which the world in which we are living has emerged. The world which we are living is emerged. How it emerged, we have to see that. Now, after all through the history, we human societies have steadily more interlinked. Like they were not like firstly in the first century they were interlinked. No, it is not so. Now, what happened then? From the ancient times, travelers, traders, priests, pilgrims. This is very important. Now, who traveled from the very previous time? Peoples like travelers. From this, it is very important. Travelers, traders, priests, pilgrims, vast traveled vast distances. Now, for what? For knowledge, opportunity, spiritual fulfillment, or to escape persecution. Like in many places, persecution was going on. Caste discrimination was there, racial discrimination was there. So, to escape that, many people fled from the country. Now, nextly, what they carried. So this can be asked in for 1 or 2 mark in your periodic test. Who travel? So answer is pilgrims, travelers, priests, pilgrims, and travel vast distances. Now for what? For knowledge, opportunity, spiritual fulfillment, to escape persecution. Now what they carried? This can be also asked. They carried goods, money, values, skills, ideas, inventions, and even germs and diseases. As early as 3000 BC, means before Christian era, 3000 years. An active coastal trade was linked Indus Valley civilization with the present day West Asia. Indus Valley civilization is was in India, sorry, and now it linked that day India to the present day West Asia. Now, for more than a millennia, that is millennia is a what we say currency of of Maldives. Now, for more than a millennia, cowries, that is Hindi, in Hindi we used to say cowrie, now used as currency from Maldives and find their way to China and East Africa. Now in that days, for only 1 millennia we could travel from Maldives to China also, and Central East Africa also. Now the long distances spread from the of the seas carrying germs may be traced as far back as the 17th century. Means spreading of diseases took place from 17th century. Now by the 13th century it had become an unmistakable link. Why? Because this was the only link which means not only, but this was one of the only link which connected people. Now the second topic is Silk Route, the link the world. Now, this was a Silk Route. As the name suggests, we can say that it is a silk, means silk used to travel from that route. Now, the Silk Route are a good example of vibrant pre-modern trade. For what they are example, that is a pre-modern trade and cultural links between the distant parts of the world. The name Silk Routes points to the importance of the westbound Chinese silk cargoes along this route. Now, who was exporting the silk? That is China. China was exporting the silk. So this may be 1 mark question. So just remember, if you are giving an MCQ test, this can be a 1 mark question, that why Silk Route is known as Silk Route, means how it has taken its name. So the name Silk Route points to the importance of the westbound Chinese silk cargoes. Means this is showing the importance of Chinese silk cargoes. They were exporting silk through these routes. So this is known as the Silk Route. Especially who were the main exporters? That is the Chinese silk cargoes. Cargoes is a train type structure. Now historians have identified several silk routes by land and by sea also, knitting together vast regions of Asia, linking to Asia with the Europe and northern Africa. So no, it is not like that only silk routes from China. Only one silk route was there, that is from which China traveled. No, but there were many which linked Asia. The silk routes also linked Asia to the Europe and North Africa. They were known to have existed since the Chinese era, Christian era, sorry, not Chinese, and thrived almost till the 15th century. Means before CE, that is BCE to 15th century, they were having their importance, the Silk routes. Now, but Chinese pottery also traveled the same route as did the textile and spices from India and Southeast Asia. Now, Chinese pottery, not silk pottery, sorry, Chinese pottery also traveled the same route. Now, the routes, I told you that there are many routes, so the Chinese pottery also traveled that route. In India, precious metals gold flowed from Europe to Asia. Why Europe to Asia? Because India, which included Asia, was exporting the spices. So gold and silver were imported to India. Why? Because they were having the trade exchange. We were giving them spices, they were giving us gold and silver. Trade and culture exchange always went hand in hand. Means what this suggests is that trade, if we are trading with someone, then we are having their culture, we are getting to know their culture, they are getting to know our culture. So trade and culture exchange goes hand in hand. Early Christian missionaries almost traveled this route to Asia. Who traveled? Firstly the Christian missionaries, as did many Muslim preachers a few centuries later. Firstly Christians traveled, then Muslims traveled. Are you getting? Now what we are learning is that how the cultural exchange went. Now, much before this, the Buddhists emerged from the eastern India and spread in several directions during the intersection point on the Silk routes. Now, what this is suggesting is that firstly, Christian missionaries went, then Muslim preachers went, but before this, the Buddhist has already went. So, this is saying that firstly, Buddhist culture was spread, then Christian culture was spread, then Muslim culture. Now, students, our third point is the food travel, spaghetti and potato. Means we are going to learn that how potato becomes spaghetti. The same food, how it got the different name. Now, food offers many examples of long distance cultural exchange. Like whatever food we are having in foreign countries, we can have it in India also. So, this is the food offers. Now, traders and travelers introduce new crops to the land that they traveled. Now, if a trader went from India to outside country, he will introduce our crops to them. And similarly, if someone came from foreign to India, he will introduce their crops to us. So, like this, the culture as well as cultural exchange, as well as food exchange, as well as trade exchange was going on simultaneously. Even ready foodstuffs in distant parts of the world might share common origin. Now, whatever the ready foodstuffs are also there, they may share same origin. Now, take spaghetti and noodles. It is believed that noodles travel from China to become spaghetti. Means from China they travel to the rest of the world, and there they got different name. Are you understanding, students? Means they have traveled from China. They were origined in China and they have traveled from China. Means not they on their feet, obviously. The traders have introduced that food to different parts of the world, and it had taken different name. Now, or perhaps the Arab traders took pasta to the 5th century Sicily, an island now in Italy. Now, see, from China, potato traveled to become spaghetti, and from Arab, that is to Arab to Cilicia. Who traveled then? The Arab traders. What traveled? That is the pasta. Here what traveled? This is the potato, and here pasta. Oh, both are starting with P only. Let it be. Now, similar foods were also known in India and Japan. Now, similar foods were also known in India as well as Japan. They were same. So the truth about their origin may never be known. So we are not going to have the know their truth, because they may be by China also and in India also made origin. Now, yet such guesswork suggests the possibilities of long distance cultural contact in the pre-modern world. So what this suggests is that we were having the cultural trade as well as food exchange in previous, that is pre-modern world. Many of our common foods such as potatoes. See, this may be asked for one mark question, that is which foods travel from India or from outside to India. That is potato, soya, groundnut, maize, tomato, chilies, sweet potato and so on. Now see, remember once again, potato, soya, groundnut, maize, tomato. Potato, soya, groundnut, maize, tomato and sweet potato. See, potato, sweet potato, then groundnut, maize, tomato, like this, and chilies. So this will be easy to understand. See, potato, chili, tomato, soya, groundnut, sweet potato. Am I correct? Yeah. Oh, maize also. Now, and so on were not known to our ancestors until the 5 centuries ago. 5 centuries ago, these were introduced by foreign traders to India. Now, these foods were only introduced in Europe and Asia after the Christopher Columbus accidentally discovered the vast continent that would later become known as America. So, these all were the foodstuffs which were found in America, and they were after the Christopher Columbus. You might know this name and you have to remember it. It may be asked for one mark question in your periodic test. Christopher Columbus discovered the Americas 5 centuries ago. 5 centuries ago, America was discovered by Christopher Columbus. Now, these all were foodstuffs which we saw, like potato, chilies, tomatoes, sweet potato, groundnut, maize, and maize, soya, remaining. Okay, so these were the crops grown in Americas and that were introduced by Americans to rest of the world after Christopher Columbus discovered America 5 centuries before. Now, here we will use America to describe the northern. As you might know that this is the I have not drawn it properly, but America is distributed in three. America is distributed in three islands. You might know this because firstly the uppermost is known as the northern island. Sorry, the Northern America. I'm wrong. See this. I have not drawn it properly. The uppermost is known as Northern America. The southmost is known as South America, and the mid is known as Caribbean island. So we will now use America only word to refer all that. Okay. In fact, many of our foodstuffs came from America's original inhabitant, the American Indians. So the people who were American but they traveled to India, they had introduced these crops to India. Now just remind quickly what were the crops, okay? Sometimes the new crops could make the difference between life and death, because in many parts of the world people were not having the food. So introduction of these foods by the Americans just gave them new hope and they were happy with that. Now Europe's poor people began to eat better, live even better with the introduction of the humble potato. As potato was introduced in Europe, they were living more happily and they can live, because before the introduction of potato they were not having the living conditions, they were not having the food to eat. Now Ireland's poorest peasants became so dependent on potato that when the disease destroyed the potato crop in 1840, just remember students, in 1840 in Ireland, the disease, of potato just destroyed all the potato crops in Ireland, and hundreds and thousands of people died of starvation. So remember, whose profit was there? Of Europe. They were having now full valley or food, but in Ireland they became so much dependent on potato that Ireland's disease when devastated the potato crop, hundreds and thousands of people died of that. Now, our third topic of today's people is conquest, disease, and trade. So, students, just get ready for the conquest. Like we are going to some conquest, some fight with someone. No, obviously not. Just we are going to see. Now, the pre-modern world shrank greatly in the 16th century. What happened in 16th century? Don't take tension, we will know. After Europe, sailors found a sea route to Asia and also successfully crossed the Western Ocean to Americas. Oh my God! So as I told you, this is somewhat America. The whole is known as America. This is the sea, like this is the sea, and now Europeans crossed this sea and went to Americas. Also, they came to Asia from the Silk Route. For centuries before, Indian Ocean had known a bustling trade with goods, people, knowledge, customs, crisscrossing its water. The Indian subcontinent was central to the flow of crucial point in the networks. As you might know, this is the southern part of India, and this is whole is the Indian Ocean. So this was easy to go here from the sea route. So India was the main center for the trade at that time. But the Indian subcontinent was central. As I told you, Indian subcontinent was a crucial point. It may be asked that which was the crucial point, or which was the crucial like a network uh, of the trade at that pre-modern time. Then its answer is one in India. The entry of Europeans helped expand or redirect some of these flows towards Europe. Now, as I told you, they had crossed this ocean. And went to America. So Europeans were now Europe was being a more important network of trade. Before its discovery, America had been cut off from regular contact with the world for millions of years. Not over one, two, three, or four. No, it was for millions of years. They were cut off from rest of the world. But from the 16th century, its vast land and abundant crop and minerals began to transform trade and lives everywhere. It was a country which helped to transform the world. Now, precious metals, particularly silver. Silver was mined in the present day Peru and Mexico at that time. Now, what enhanced Europe's wealth was the gold, silver. Silver mined from present day Peru and Mexico enhanced the Europe's trade with Asia. Now, it was taking spices from Asia, so now gold and silver helped it to take this and continue the flow of trade. Now, legends spread. Legends means stories. Stories spread in the 17th century Europe about the South America's fabled wealth. Fabled means a much larger, that is a big wealth. Now, many expeditions. Expeditions means that teams of people went to discover something. Now, expeditions set off in search of Dorado. Dorado means it is the name of the city, El Dorado. This may be asked for one mark question, students. Remember El Dorado. It is the fabled city of gold, as the legend said. Now, the Portuguese and the Spanish conquest and the colonization of America was decisively under the mid 16th century. So, in the 16th century, what was going on? Firstly, the Portuguese, then the Spanish, and the colonization. Colonization was also going on, means somewhere traveling, trying to just capture America. Now, European conquest was not just a result of superior firepower. They were having the power, but it was not just a result of that. In fact, the most powerful weapon of the Spanish conqueror was not a military, but at all. It was germs as those of smallpox that they carried on their persons. So, see, three countries were trying to colonize Americas. That is, first Portuguese, Spanish, and two only, to try to establish colonization on America. So Spanish, what they did, they spread the germs and diseases. They do not wait. They have brain, so they work smart. They do not use the military weapons at all. They use the germs of what, of the smallpox. As they were America's original inhabitants had no immunity against these germs, smallpox in particularly proved a deadly killer. Oh my God. It killed thousands and lakhs of people in America. Now, once introduced, it spread deep into the continent. ahead of even any European reaching there. Like if someone went to this person, these are the three persons. So if this infected person go to this go to this go to this. So from this many spreading of diseases took place. Now it killed and dedicated whole communities, paving the way for conquest. So what conquest was there? That these were paving the way for conquest means Spanish germs has killed thousands of people, and this was the main issue of conquest. Now, somewhat last point of today's students, guns could be bought or captured and turned against the invaders if we are having the guns. And if I killed my enemy, then I could take his gun and fire on his members only. But in this case, America's original inhabitants had no immunity, but rest of the Portuguese and Spanish, like the Spanish was the one who invaded them with germs, so Spanish were having the immunity. So this cannot be used, the germs cannot be used as the weapons here by the Americans. Now, until the 19th century, poverty and hunger were common in Europe. What were common? So this can also be a one mark question. What were the common problems in Europe until the 19th century? First is poverty, students, and then it is the poverty and hunger. People were not having the food. So poverty as well as hunger were the two main issues until 19th century. Cities were crowded and deadly diseases were widespread. Oh my god. Diseases also were there until the 19th century. Religious conflicts were common. The religious dissenters were persecuted. Thousands therefore fled Europe for America. Now, this can be means no, I don't think it will come in your periodic test, but this can be 3 mark question, students. I don't think it will come, but just remember that why did many people fled from Europe to Americas in the 19th century? So first reason for that is there were hunger and poverty in Europe. Cities were crowded, diseases spread. Now thirdly, religious conflicts were taking on large scale. Now dissenters were persecuted. Fourth, dissenters were persecuted. Therefore, thousands of people fled from Europe to Americas. Here, by the 18th century, plantation work, slave capture in Africa were growing cotton and sugar for European market. Now, by the 18th century, plantations worked by the slave capture in America were growing cotton. Means whatever the slave that captured in the plantation, they used that slaves to grow cotton and sugar for European markets. How smart the Europeans were. Now, until well into the 18th century, means in 18th century, China and India were the most among the world's richest countries. Oh my god, India can be one of the richest countries. It is like a dream. Okay, so at that time in the pre-modern world in the 18th century, India as well as China were the one of the richest country of the world at that time. So there were also preeminent in Asian trade. These were also preeminent in Asian trades. However, from the 15th century, China is said to have restricted overseas contact and retreated India. Now, why they have cut off their contact from the rest of the world? Because they don't want to take diseases and risk. China's role reduced and rising importance of Americas gradually moved the center of the trade eastwards. As I have told you, westwards. This was America. As China was not willing to communicate with the rest of the world, flow shifted to China. And Europe will now emerge as center of the world trade. As America was in Europe, so Europe now emerged as the center of the world trade. And now, firstly, India and China were the two important countries. Now, America became one of the main important trade center, and Europe became the center of the world trade at that pre-modern time. So, students, if you like, please like, share, and comment. And if you want the second part also, then please subscribe to our channel. Thanks you.